If someone is charged with a crime, most people assume the case will eventually go to trial. But in reality, most criminal cases never reach a courtroom trial at all. Instead, they are resolved through something called a plea bargain. A plea bargain is one of the most common ways criminal cases are handled in the justice system, but many people don't fully understand how the process actually works. Today, we're walking through exactly how plea bargains work step by step. On this episode of Step by Step Explained, we're breaking down the process clearly and simply. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future guides. A plea bargain is an agreement between the defendant and the prosecutor to resolve a criminal case without going to trial. In this agreement, the defendant agrees to plead guilty, usually in exchange for something. That something might be a reduced charge, fewer charges, or a lighter sentence. For example, instead of going to trial on a felony charge, a defendant might agree to plead guilty to a misdemeanor. Or instead of facing several charges at trial, some charges may be dropped entirely. This allows both sides to avoid the uncertainty of a trial. Trials take time. They require witnesses, they involve scheduling challenges, and most importantly, they always carry risk for both sides. Because of this, plea bargains resolve the majority of criminal cases. Many people think plea negotiations only happen right before trial, but in reality they often begin much earlier. Sometimes discussions start shortly after charges are filed. In other situations, negotiations begin after the defense attorney reviews the evidence in the case. This stage is called discovery, when both sides examine police reports, witness statements, and other evidence. As each side learns more about the strengths and weaknesses of the case, they begin evaluating whether a plea agreement makes sense. Negotiations may continue throughout the case and sometimes even happen right up until the trial date. Not all plea bargains work the same way. There are three common types. The first is a charge bargain. This happens when the defendant pleads guilty to a less serious charge than the original one. For example, a felony theft charge might be reduced to a misdemeanor theft charge. The second type is a sentence bargain. This happens when the defendant pleads guilty in exchange for a specific or reduced sentence. For example, the prosecutor might agree to recommend probation instead of jail time, or they may agree to reduce the length of a possible sentence. The third type is called a fact bargain. This is when both sides agree on certain facts that will be presented to the judge during sentencing. These agreements can influence how serious the offense appears in court and may affect the final sentence. Fact bargains are less common than the other two types, but they are still used in some cases. Prosecutors do not offer plea bargains randomly. They carefully evaluate each case before making an offer. One important factor is the strength of the evidence. If the evidence strongly supports the charges, the prosecutor may offer a smaller reduction. But if there are weaknesses in the evidence, the prosecutor may offer a more favorable agreement. Another factor is witness availability. If a key witness may not be able to testify at trial, that can affect negotiations. Prosecutors also consider the seriousness of the offense. More serious crimes often involve more limited plea options. Finally, prosecutors may look at the defendant's criminal history. Someone with no prior record may receive a different offer than someone with multiple previous convictions. When a plea offer is made, the defense attorney reviews it carefully with the defendant. They look at the strength of the evidence. They consider the possible outcome if the case goes to trial, and they explain the risks involved with both choices. For example, going to trial always carries uncertainty. Even if the defense believes they have a strong case, the outcome is never guaranteed. Accepting a plea agreement can sometimes reduce that risk. But accepting a plea agreement also means accepting a criminal conviction. Because of this, deciding whether to accept a plea bargain is one of the most important choices a defendant makes during a case. Before a plea bargain becomes final, the judge must review the agreement. The judge's role is not to negotiate the deal, but to make sure the agreement is fair and voluntary. During this process, the judge usually asks several questions. For example, do you understand the charges against you? Do you understand the rights you're giving up? Are you entering this plea voluntarily? This helps confirm that the decision is being made knowingly and without pressure. If the judge is satisfied with the answers, the plea agreement may be accepted. Accepting a plea bargain involves giving up important constitutional rights. These include the right to a trial, the right to have a jury decide the case, and the right to question witnesses in court. Because these rights are so important, judges take extra care to confirm the defendant understands what they are giving up before accepting the plea. Once the judge accepts the plea agreement, the case usually moves forward to sentencing. In some situations, sentencing happens immediately. In other cases, the judge schedules a separate sentencing hearing for a later date. After sentencing takes place, the case is considered resolved. There is no trial, and the case is officially closed. Plea bargains resolve most criminal cases before trial ever begins. But when a case does move forward to trial, the next major step is selecting the jury. In the next episode, we'll explain how jury selection works step by step. If you want more step-by-step explanations of legal, financial, and government processes, subscribe to Step by Step Explained for future videos.